round one of the TRP National Motocross Championships from Rover in Port Elizabeth is proudly brought to you by Bridgestone Tyres, Thor Riding Apparel, and their associate sponsors. Last week we saw some incredible action and more of the same headed your way right now. But it's great to see that the Rover Club went all out to ensure that it was a family affair here this weekend. Good to see Richie van der Westhuizen on the sidelines, although he'd probably be on a bike if he was able to. But he's now the National Track Inspector for National Motocross. A big welcome to Dragon Energy and Prepsol, who have come on board as part of our National Motocross sponsors. There's going to be a dogfight out there. Yes, Michael Cox not here, but we're certainly going to be in for a big one as the 65s line up for their first heat of the day. This is where we're going to see Neil van der Westhuizen, last year's back-to-back 50cc champion, make his way out in the 65cc class for the first time as one of the riders gets stuck in the gate. These guys are going to battle. We saw just how difficult the track was and how difficult it's going to get through the day. But with these small wheels in this very thick sand, you're going to have your wits about you. Riders already going down. And not quite the start there from Liam Burtzer. That's one of our front runners. And he's gone to the back of this big pack of 16 riders. 101 coming through there, Boren Toy. 747 also. Jordan van Wyk stepping up from 50s up into the 65cc class now and looking for a chance to be at the front end. Vion Deploy right now is the man to catch, but he's been closed down rapidly by Emmanuel Bacco. The Zimbabwean rider certainly getting to grips with the sand sections very quickly. Speaking of very quickly, here's a man who's going very quick and certainly making his way to the front end rapidly. There is Luca Minot. Minot might be in contention for a win here. Oh, Neil van der Westhuizen, welcome to 65s, welcome to the big track, and unfortunately welcome to the sand here at Rover. Oh, that's the leader going down. Vion Deploy makes a big mistake and crashes out. Yellow flags waving, which means Bacco is going to hit the front. Emmanuel Bacco now leads out. And he's got a comfortable margin. He's just got to keep it upright. Looking at where second place, there you go, that's Luca Minot. And third place now is the man who was in the lead. You can see he's rattled. Not hitting the lines that he wants to. And Vion Deploy got it all wrong there. Got to just settle down and get back into the rhythm. Coming over that big Thor tabletop, heading up to the top end of the circuit again. The 65s definitely going to find it extremely difficult as they launch themselves up and back down the big ski jumps at Rover. Neil van der Westhuizen fighting with Lucas Venter now, and all of a sudden we see at the back end there Peter Brink starting to be closed down by the 37 of Trey Cox. Rider down, there's 169, Thor Johnson making a big mistake and looks like he might be a little bit sore. He has a change up for the lead though. Oh, great camera work there, catching the two leaders as they came together. And Bacco trying to just avoid the attack from Luca Minot. Minot though, hitting the front. Third place still in the hands of Vion Deploy. Good recovery there from the 169, Thor Johnson back up, but you can see also very rattled and finding it difficult to get that rhythm. Cody Goosen also having some problems there, but he gets back up and riding. Further down the field, it looks like all the riders taking some strain. Timo Topper also having to just get up through the sand. Flag out, and the first win of the season goes to Luca Minot. He'll be happy with that. A great effort from that young man. But let's have a look at the overall results for the day. Emmanuel Bacco eventually taking the overall win ahead of Luca Minot, Lucas Venter, Wyatt McGregor, and Vion Deploy. Neil van der Westhuizen first time out, down in 6th.
6th is Brad Cox, 7th place co-lieutenant, good recovery.
Bacco getting the red plate heading into Maritzburg as we head into MX1. "21 riders going out there, a big field, probably one of the biggest we've seen in MX1 history in a long, long time. But great to see a lot of guys doubling up in MX1 and MX2 duties. And as the gates drop, oh, stuck in the gate there was Matt Van Galen. Not the start he wanted, but have a look at this massive pack of 450s heading out into turn number 1. Did they all get through? Only just. And it's Tennant who leads things out. He's got the whole shot, and he's starting to pull a slight margin already. 2 bike lengths over Ryan Angili on the Honda. Right behind him, it is your champion. That's Purton on the Yamaha. And starting to come in there with Goosen, the 2 Yamahas. Very evenly matched as they come through. Oh! 2 riders down. Matty Milan is one of them. Oh, can you believe that? Milan just getting into a big up and down here. Unfortunately being caught out by 2 riders. One of them was Andrew Wren. And Milan is still down. Milan is actually under his motorcycle. So the Q4 Fuels Husqvarna rider, sure, shaken but not stirred. His teammate out front, opening up a big margin. Here comes Purden. Purden alongside Angili as he comes up there on the Honda. Coming into the back end is now Kieran Fitzgerald on the Red Bull KTM. So KTM, Honda, Husqvarna and Yamaha. 4 motorcycles from different manufacturers in the top 4 here in MX1. That's what we want. Tennant though, sure, he's on fire here this weekend. Taking a win in the MX2 category, looking for a win now in MX1s. And the rest of the field streaming through there rapidly. Royce Griffin, what a start from him. Good to see him back and racing. And taking on Damon Straden there on the Granger Racing KTM. KTM's now fighting with a Honda, and Geely trying to keep out Kieran Fitzgerald's attack. And just behind them, it of course is the 21 bike of Goosen. Good recovery from Matt Van Galen. Van Galen got stuck in the gate as we saw, but he's now made his way into the top 10. Oh, aerial material from the two riders. They went flying past us over the fly section. Tennant though is flying away from everybody. There doesn't seem to be an answer from anybody at this stage for Tennant's pace. 211 is Jaden Ashwell fighting with Goosen. It's a bit of a change up for the books there. 121 is Dylan Mostert being caught and passed now around the outside from Reynard. Reynard was also one of the riders who got caught out in that early crash, and he's made up some big ground. Brendan Roger with a bit of an issue there on his KTM, but eventually gets going again. Caleb Tennant though, look at the lead he's got over Tristan Purdon. He's just kept it very smooth, cool, calm and collected, as Purdon has to try and fend off the late attack here from that Red Bull KTM of Kieran Fitzgerald. But Sinswala out of Africa Yamaha doing a fantastic job in second. Can he hang on to that second spot? Ashwell closing in on the back end of that second Yamaha of Goosen. Behind them, how far back as Matty Milan come? I can see Reynard has recovered nicely. He's going to potentially be just inside or maybe just outside of that top 10. Let's see how he goes in these last couple of laps. Milan, I don't think he's going to be happy about that. Milan probably looking in the top 15 right now, still with a lot of work to do to get to the front. There you can see Damon Stratham. Reynard closing in on him. Reynard not too far off the back end there of that Granger Racing KTM. And Andrew Wren, another man who was caught out in that crash. Also he's actually just got into the top 10. Reynard with a problem. Reynard coming out of just one, the bike is stalled, and he's looking down at it going, what is wrong with this bike? You don't see a KTM giving up the ghost like that, and Reynard will definitely be a bit concerned about that. There's Milan, making his way up on the inside, coming through there on Enrico Nobanesi. Just getting through on him. His teammate, though, is just disappearing at the front end. And with only a couple of corners to go, as he comes through the Bridgestone section to finish up race number 1, Tennant takes another victory here in Rover. 1 in MX2s, and now 1 in the MX1 category. Tennant wins out over Tristan Purdon. Fitzgerald eventually in third, with Jaden Ashwell in fourth, beating Goosen, Griffin, Stratham and Van Galen your top 8. Let's catch up with the man who went down in the Bridgestone turn, Matty Milan.
I got off to an alright start. I think I was 5th, and I just came into the one berm and tucked the front quite hard. Went over the bars, and then one of the riders came from behind, hit my bike onto me, and I was trapped under my bike. So yeah, it was a bit unlucky, but it's the first national of the year. Can't win it here, but you can certainly lose a championship. So today was damage control.
A little bit of damage on the KTM. What happened, Anthony Reynard?
I was probably about 4th, 5th of the start. Went into the 3rd turn of the track, and Matty Milan put it down just in front of me, resulting in me riding straight into him and twisting up my bike. Remounted, and I think I caught back to 6th place within about 4 or 5 laps. And we had a small mechanical from the crash that the bike stopped. So yeah, I had to push it off on that one. But yeah, not the result that I wanted. I've been putting in work, and we'll bounce back at the next one.
Join us off the break for some more action from the Rover Motocross track in PE.